Feeling good from an environmental standpoint can feel like a really big roadblock when it comes to decluttering. I hear from people all the time that even if they recognize there is clutter in their home and there's stuff that they simply don't use, love, or need, they have a really hard time donating it, or they are concerned that a lot of the things that get donated are going to end up in a landfill, because the hard truth is, depending on who or where you donate your things to, a lot of it does end up in the landfill. So today I'm going to be sharing 5 eco-friendly tips for you to get past that roadblock if that's something you've been experiencing, so you can continue to make progress and also help your home and help the earth. If we haven't met yet, I'm Katie Wells. I'm a declutter expert, and through this show, my top-rated podcast called The Maximize Minimalist, and my online programs, I've helped hundreds of thousands of people declutter their homes and keep the clutter away. Number 1 is commit to buying less and use what you have longer. Here's the thing. Did you know that nearly 3/5 of all clothing ends up in incinerators or landfills within a year of being produced? A big reason for this is because of fast fashion brands. This is a term that describes inexpensive designs that basically move into stores really quickly, have their moment, and then in the blink of an eye are outdated or short-lived trends. But before fast fashion ever existed, we had to invest in quality items, which cost a little bit more or a lot more depending on what it was, but they lasted so much longer. And in a really big way, not only has fast fashion given us so much more clutter in our wardrobes, it's also really damaging our environment. I remember, in fact, when I started to declutter my wardrobe, the bulk of the things I was getting rid of in my big purge were all fast fashion items, things that didn't cost a lot of money, wore out or got holes, or didn't last more than 1 or 2 washes, and were just not made well. And so to combat that now, I've, for the last many years, invested in more quality pieces that last a lot longer, are made from companies that believe in sustainability, and that is a value of that company's. And guess what? My tops and my jeans and everything lasts so much longer. I keep it for a lot longer, and if something does happen to it, I fix it. We can fix things. Yeah, that's number 2. Did you know that we can fix stuff? I know so many people who, if they get a stain on a top, or if their hem comes out of their shirt, starts to unravel, instead of going to get it fixed and taking the time to drive it to someone or learn how to fix it themselves, they just go out and buy a new one. So start fixing, or maybe even repurposing some of these items that have been sitting around that you haven't been using because they're defective or something. One reason I see this panning out, people opting to buy a new one instead of fixing it, is because of cost, because of going back to that fast fashion example. If you have to go out and get a stain stick or pay someone $10 to fix a shirt, fix a hem on a shirt, and a brand new shirt costs $10 or $12 or maybe even $8, maybe even less, a lot of people have just gotten into the mentality that one little thing wrong with this shirt, I'm just going to replace it for something new. The second one is convenience. We pay for convenience, don't we? And if it takes time to find a seamstress or someone who fixes shoes or can polish shoes or resole your shoes or something like that, we often will just go, forget it. I'll just hop online and get a new pair. This is time out of my day I don't want to spend. And the reality is, most people opt for convenience out of resourcefulness, but it doesn't help our environment, because so many things that could be continued to use and loved by your family, and my family too, end up in the landfill. So I want to encourage you to start getting a little more resourceful. Things will last longer. You'll be able to fix them if they don't already last longer. And even doing simple things like hopping on YouTube, you're here anyway, right? Watching me, and looking up how to fix a hem on a dress can be so helpful, and it empowers you to hang on to things longer, and you don't have to pay someone to do it. The idea here is truly it's a luxury to not have to be resourceful. And so many people this day and age, we don't have to think about needing to be resourceful. We just hop online and get it again, right? It's just this autopilot type of thinking. So if we turn the autopilot off, right, and start flying the plane manually and bringing awareness into the situation, I think you'll recognize, just like I did, that I can actually fix and repurpose so much more than I thought I could, and it's going to save me money, and it's going to be way better for the environment as well. Number 3 is to donate to local charities that are in your area. These local charities are much more likely to put your things to use versus a bigger organization like Goodwill. Now, I'm not knocking Goodwill. I think they have their time and place in helping people declutter and getting it into the hands of people who will use and love it. But local organizations and nonprofits where you are and where you live right now are often forgotten when it comes to where can I get rid of my stuff and send this stuff to someone who's going to use it. So do a quick Google search or YouTube search. Women's shelters, men's shelters, veterans shelters, kids shelters, even places like schools schools will oftentimes be happy to take art supplies and different materials off your hand that maybe your kids don't use or you have too much of. I think sometimes, again, it comes back into thinking outside the box, getting out of autopilot and spending 5 or 10 minutes doing a little research to find out who these people are and what do they need. And so calling them in advance to see if they're accepting certain things. Even places like animal shelters for old blankets, old sheets, old pillows that you no longer need are often more than happy to take those things off your hands to shelter and make comfortable our furry little friends in these shelters who could really benefit from stuff like that. Also places like crisis shelters, pregnancy centers, churches, daycares. And so as you're researching different organizations to donate to, keep a running list, have it in your phone or at a glance. That way you know next time you are decluttering certain categories of things, you know exactly who to call, where to drop it off, or maybe they even do pickups. Have that running list at a glance. You will be so glad you did it. Yes, it takes time on the front end to do some of this research, but oftentimes it feels so much better to know who the things are going to, that they're really going to use and love it and they really need it versus just dumping them at Goodwill. Number 4, let's say you have some things that you're like, I think I could probably recoup some of the monetary investment I paid to get this item. I don't really want to donate it, but I don't really want to keep it either. So using online consignment apps or local consignment stores is a great option here. And buying secondhand, so not only using these consignment apps and organizations to sell your unwanted things or things you don't need anymore, but to buy secondhand is so much more eco-friendly than going out and buying new. So popular consignment apps to sell on and also buy on are Poshmark, ThredUp, Mercari, and eBay. Personally, I'm a huge fan of Poshmark. I just find it really easy to use, and I've been selling clothes on there for about a year now. I've recouped a lot of financial investment. It doesn't take me very long because I know exactly how to do it now, and the money I have gained back has obviously helped my bank account, but I've been able to then apply it towards more quality items that have lasted a lot longer in my house. And additionally, it is so very rare for me to buy something new anymore. Once you're able to identify your brands and certain sizes that really work well for you in those brands, Poshmark is a great place to buy secondhand, and that's what I do. So about 80 to 85% of my clothing I get these days is all secondhand. Number 5, pay it forward to your local community. I know I talked about different organizations you can donate to, but I also want to talk about the people within your community, literally across your street, in your neighborhood. You can have a garage sale, or better yet, if you are just so ready to have your peace of mind over a few dollars you can make from a garage sale, have a free garage sale. Post signs around your neighborhood and say, this stuff needs to go by 5 o'clock. This is all free. My parents did this, and within 1 hour, they had all of the stuff gone, and the people who picked it up so clearly very much needed and wanted it, and we're so grateful. And my mom called me and said, this is the best feeling. This is so much better than me hanging on to this stuff or taking it to an organization center and dumping it on the side of their building for them to handle. She said she was so grateful. She got to see who the people were who were taking this stuff and how excited they were that they were able to get this stuff all for free. And also, if you hang out on Facebook, I highly recommend you look for a local Buy Nothing group. Buy is B-U-Y, Buy Nothing group. They've been around for many years. They are all across the world. So if you're in the UK, Australia, Europe, don't worry, there's probably a Buy Nothing group nearby. Basically, you join these Facebook groups. It's completely free, and it's all people within your town or the biggest town nearby that has one of these organizations, and you donate what you want for free. You post something, maybe it's an old blender, a pair of shoes, some old baby clothes your kids have outgrown out of, and usually within 24 to 48 hours from my experience, I have someone on my doorstep or meeting someone at a business in town and passing along that item. And I'm telling you what, there's no greater joy, just like my mom said, than being able to meet these people in your community who your stuff is now able to bless and serve. And alternatively, if you need something for free, if you are looking for something, it's great to post things and give them away, but talking about being resourceful, so many people don't get rid of things and declutter because they go, what if I need this again? Well, what if you need it again? Maybe you could find it on your local Buy Nothing group. There are so many things I've seen on our local Buy Nothing group, and they're not all like $20 or less. I mean, there's bed frames, mattresses, dressers, entire furniture sets I've seen on my local Buy Nothing group. So don't underestimate the power of these and what you're able to find. So if you felt in the past like decluttering is not eco-friendly, I really hope you walk away with some gold nuggets from these 5 tips I gave you today and some encouragement that yes, in fact, decluttering, you can do it in an eco-friendly way. So if this video has made you feel inspired, but maybe you're lacking a little bit of that motivation, do me a favor right now, click that video on your screen so you can learn exactly how to get that motivation so you can continue your declutter journey today.